Distilled water is amazing for small appliances. But for drinking, I'm not a small appliance. My body is not a small appliance. So don't get confused because it's good for a machine does not mean it's good for you. Your body wants mineral.
You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Is tap water really bad to drink? And what's the juice on natural sparkling water? And is alkaline and kangen water just a scam? I have water sommelier Martin Riese with me, and we talk about all things water brands, different water types, baby water, mineral water, and we name names on brands of water not being fully transparent and those that are willing to showcase their water purity. And speaking of pure water, did you know we're not supposed to be drinking 100% pure water? If you care about what you put in your body and are looking to find the best water and educate yourself on the different types of water and why it's important to pair them with different foods, then you're listening to the right episode. It's been 1 year since we got our non-toxic organic mattress from Birch, and we cannot speak more highly of it. It's not only comfortable, breathable, and firm, it's also soft. We hate sleeping on something that creates craters and ultimately ruins our backs, and the mattresses that are too firm are like sleeping on rocks. Birch mattresses are the perfect support for my husband and I. But what really sold me on Birch were the non-toxic and organic materials they use. It's Green Guard Gold certified to ensure safety and low emissions, plus it's hypoallergenic and antimicrobial, meaning it's not susceptible to molding and accumulating harsh microbes and acts as a natural barrier to dust mites. They believe so strongly in their mattress quality that each one includes a 25-year warranty. They even have a kids mattress so you can ensure not only yourself, but your children are sleeping and growing up as non-toxic as possible. I want all my listeners not only to enjoy a deep, restful night's sleep, but also peace of mind knowing your mattress is mold-free as you sleep on a Birch. Go to birchliving.com/digest for 20% off site-wide. That's birchliving.com/digest to get 20% off site-wide. birchliving.com/digest. Here's a message from one of our sponsors, Vimergy Liquid Vitamins. For years, we have been told that more pills mean fewer problems, but many are loaded with pesticides, preservatives, and fillers. In fact, many people often feel worse after popping pills. Thanks to Vimergy, there's another way. Vimergy fast-absorbing liquid vitamins are pure, potent, and made from timeless ingredients. No sugars, binders, or preservatives. Just what your body needs to support immunity, energy, mood, and sleep. It's time to take charge of your health on your terms. Stop relying on pills and start saving yourself, your gut, and money with Vimergy liquid vitamins. Whether you're looking for immune support like zinc, propolis, olive leaf, or energy support like B12 for adults and children, they got you covered. Vimergy also has bone support, stress relief, hair and skin revitalization, and of course, sought-after digestive relief supplements. Vimergy offers a variety of liquid vitamins without needing to swallow a pill. In fact, liquid supplements have been shown to be absorbed into the bloodstream more quickly than capsules and are easier for children and those with swallowing difficulties. Now, customers can save 20% off their first order with the code DIGEST. Just visit Vimergy.com. That's Vimergy.com and use the code DIGEST at checkout. Martin, you are here for the first time on the Digest This podcast. And before we get into the weeds, I like to start my interviews with rapid fire yes or no questions. And you can only answer yes or no.
Okay.
Okay. There's like 6 questions. First one. Is alkaline water a scam?
Yes.
Should we be drinking tap water?
Yes.
Should 100% pure water be avoided?
Yes.
Should we be pairing our food with different types of water?
Yes.
Is reverse osmosis water the best water to drink in general?
No.
Goodness. Okay, last one. Is the expiration date on water a scam?
Yes.
Okay, now that we've really piqued my listeners' interest, why don't you introduce yourself and tell my listeners who you are and what you do?
So my name is Martin Riese. I'm considered the most biggest authority on water on this planet. That's at least what the media are saying. I consider myself just a hydrated guy. I'm originally from Germany. The love for water started as a child. And I'm here in America. I became a citizen in December last year. And I wanted to make sure that this beautiful, amazing country even get even better by the right water Americans can drink.
Okay, what is a water sommelier? Because I've never really heard of that, only like wine.
Sure. So the term, what you already said, Beth, the term comes from the wine sommelier. So a person who knows everything about wine and works in a restaurant or on a hotel or something like that. And you can pair different wines with different food. So I'm pretty much doing exactly the same because I realized early on that water has taste. And when something has taste, it will have an impact on other food and other beverages. So therefore, you can do it with cocktails. I'm doing it with water, our most important, healthiest beverage on in our planet. So, and on the side note, I want to bring attention to water because water is again the most important beverage in our lives. Without water, no life would exist on our planet. So therefore, I'm a little bit more than actually a wine sommelier. A water sommelier is a person as well who talks about the conservation of water, the importance of water, the injustice of water, the politicalization of water. So there's a little bit more than just the pairing aspect.
Okay. Well, I mean, our entire body is mostly water, you know, and to that effect, now you had made a pretty bold statement when I asked if we should be drinking tap water, and you said yes. My listeners are going to be up in arms. And I don't drink tap water either. Like, I think it's full of chemicals and toxins and lead and heavy metals. So why should we, what's your opinion on the tap water situation?
You ask me, should I avoid tap water? And tap water can be totally different depending where you are on this planet.
That's true if you're in America.
There we go. But you didn't ask me about American tap water. You asked me about tap water in general. And I'm coming originally from Germany. And my love for water started actually with tap because I was just fascinating that in Europe, the tap water tasted totally different depending on the city where I traveled. So not every tap water is the same. And there's a little fun story. There's one little town up north in Germany, directly on the border of Germany and Denmark. It's called Flensburg. And Flensburg is very famous for their beer, the Flensburger Brewery. It's super famous in Germany. Everybody knows that beer. You can even buy that beer here in the United States and, for example, Los Angeles in some stores. So they're very famous for this. So why is this beer so famous? Because they're using very unique spring water, because we all know that water has a huge impact on beer production. When you will ask everybody in Germany, why is your beer so good? They are going to tell you it's all about the water we're using. So in Flensburg, they have an extremely good water there. Why they have good water? They found out that the water in Flensburg actually comes from the Scandinavian countries, undergoes underneath Denmark, and comes up by a natural occurring source in Flensburg. So the tap water has mineral water qualities in Flensburg. So that's the reason. Because when you're saying tap water is bad, that does not mean all tap water around the world is bad. Some tap water can be incredible, amazing. Some tap water I would never touch to drink. So not all tap water is the same.
That's a great explanation, though. And I think that leads me to my next question is because you said we should avoid 100% pure water. And I think I know why you said that, but can you explain the reason why?
When water is pure, don't drink it. This is what I'm always saying, because Mother Nature does not know the concept of pure water. It doesn't exist on this planet. We obviously have actually enough water for everybody. We are not running out of water. That is, I think, a media hoax. And maybe people will be surprised when I'm saying this. The thing is, what they actually mean is in certain areas, we are running out of water. So, for example, I live here in California, Los Angeles. It barely rains. It's extremely hot since many, many months. Yes, we have a huge problem because we are kind of like running out of water. We don't have enough water to support all these people who are living here. In other areas of the country, it rains way too much. They have too much water now. So the distribution of water is messed up. But it's not that we are running out of water in per se, because we have around 356 million trillion gallons of water on this planet. It's the water cycle. And that brings me to the pure water now question. So most of our water is in the ocean. 97% of all the water we have on this planet is in the ocean. And obviously, we cannot drink that water because it's too high in minerality. It would actually destroy our kidneys. We could not process them, and we're gonna dehydrate and gonna die. We all know this. The problem is like dehydration when you're in the middle of the ocean on your little boat and you don't have access to real water you should drink, you're gonna die. So 97% is out of the window for us. Due to the water cycle, water evaporates. And now it's kind of like purified water, what Mother Nature does. But the second it comes down as rainwater, it already picks up some small mineralities. And water is a universal solvent. There is no other liquid on this planet who has more dissolving power than water. It's just fascinating to me. So the Grand Canyons, we all know them and how beautiful they are. They're created by water because due to rivers and due to rain. So it will pick up minerality, and these minerals are very, very important for our life being because, for example, calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, we need to have to actually survive on this planet. We cannot process them by ourselves. We have to get them from food and from water, mostly from food, obviously, but from water as well. So therefore, in my opinion, why should drink something what has barely any minerals dissolved? That doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like the same. I'm cooking a carrot and I'm boiling the hell out of this carrot to get rid of all vitamins, all nutrition values, and now thinking the carrot is still amazing and healthy to me. No, it's not. So I want water from nature with minerals. That's what I want.
Yeah, well, we have a water purifier. We have a really good one, and it's like installed under the sink. And because it's so good, we have to add minerals back into the water. I mean, obviously, it's not like going to kill us if we don't, but we always add minerals back in because it purifies it so much that, yes, it takes out the lead and all the bad stuff, but it takes out the good stuff too. So that's what we do manually. But I'm curious to know, like, what water filter do you have and how do you remineralize?
So I'm pretty much exactly the same what you're doing. That's the reason I'm not saying you should not drink tap water. Here in America, in the United States, would I drink tap water unfiltered? No. What is kind of like sad that we're living in one of the richest countries on this planet, and somehow I, as an individual person, cannot rely on the safety of my tap water, what I'm getting from the city. I think there is a problem, and we need to address that problem. And we need to obviously put way more money in our infrastructure to rebuild our infrastructure, especially when it comes to water pipes, because again, what you already mentioned, lead, arsenic, stuff we don't want to have in our drinking water, maybe can be in our drinking water due to the very outdated pipes, what we're using. So I'm happy to see that the former administration at least put a deadline in for 10 years to build a new infrastructure, that there's no more lead pipes are allowed to be in the United States in the next 10 years. And I think that's the right approach. We need to invest money to get better water for everybody, because not everybody has the amount of money to actually put themselves a nice filter system under their sink. So what I do, it's called Delta Faucet. It's a company. I'm very happy with them. I tested them out. I tested actually several out. And this was for me like the perfect scenario. It's under my sink. It's an RO system, so reverse osmosis. But what they're doing as well, I have a cartridge built into this RO system. It filters everything out and brings back minerality, what I want, for two reasons. First, taste, because RO water tastes terrible when it's like when there's no more salt. It's like cooking a soup with no salt. It's very tasteless and it's very bland on your palate. And your palate will at one point say, I don't like the taste of that particular water. And you're not even thinking maybe it's the water. You're thinking something is wrong just with the water, and you won't drink so much anymore. And that's a problem because I should hydrate myself. But when I don't like the taste, I won't do it. So therefore, I need to find a water what tastes great to me that I can actually hydrate myself. So the RO system does that. It brings back minerality. I'm very pleased with the system. I'm happy to drink that. That's the reason as well what I said, you should drink tap. Should I drink it unfiltered here in the States? No.
Ah, yes. Okay. I love your answers to my interesting questions because it really does. It perks my interest. And we're speaking of reverse osmosis, because that's the same thing that we have. What is your take on alkaline water and also the distilled water?
So distilled water is great for your small appliances. It even says this on the bottle. So when you look, for example, Pure Life water, what is very famous, I think, and they have different variations. They have like a purified water brand and they have a distilled water brand. The distilled water brand says even on the gallons of water you can buy for small appliances. Somehow people thinking they should drink this because it's so pure. And again, when water is 100% pure, I would not touch that. There is no reason for me to drink it. So distilled water is actually created originally for small appliances, for your iron, for your coffee maker, for your car battery, because the minerals, and we all know this, when you wash your car in the summer and you forget to polish your car, you suddenly have all these little white dots everywhere because water will evaporize immediately, but the minerals cannot evaporize. Therefore, they are sticking suddenly on your car. And that is the problem when you're heating up in small appliances water. These minerals cannot go away. They will stick and actually will destroy your machines at one point. That's the reason you want to use distilled water for certain appliances. But for drinking, I'm not a small appliance. My body is not a small appliance. So don't get confused because it's good for a machine does not mean it's good for you. Your body wants minerals. So therefore, distilled water is amazing for small appliances. Alkaline water, the second question you had me, is literally a marketing story created here in America to convince Americans to buy highly processed tap water sold in a plastic container with a fancy marketing story. That's what that is. Because let's be honest, where does water go when I'm drinking it? I will digest it, what your podcast already the name is of. So I'm digesting it, it will go into my stomach. My stomach is extremely acidic, needs to be acidic for two very, very important reasons. One, I need to break down nutritions to actually digest them. Second, very, very important reason, what a lot of people don't know, but is clearly there, I have to kill mycobacteria. Because when I touch my computer, now I put my tongue on my finger, I have now, I don't know how many bacteria now in my mouth. I will have food poisoning in the next 12 hours when my body would not fight this in my very acidic stomach. So the idea that I can balance out my acidic body with alkaline water is clearly nonsense because you literally would be dead when this would be true. And hopefully that's not an idea what we're trying to achieve when we're hydrating ourselves. So the pH is literally a marketing gimmick by creation of big water companies who are trying to sell you tap water in a plastic container. That's all what that is. It's scary, but it's what that is.
So we should not be drinking alkaline water.
You can drink alkaline water. It's nothing poisoning. It's not bad. It doesn't give you the effect what the people thinking it gives you.
Okay.
That's what.
Well, my husband, he's a water snob. And when we first met, He kind of sat me down. He's like, we need to change some things in this house. And
Okay.
so like we had to redo things. And he told me, Denver, drink alkaline water. And like, we went through the whole spiel. But I think it is. I think it is a marketing scheme. And thinking of another marketing scheme, I would love your opinion on the kangen water that everyone's talking about, or they used to talk about. I don't know if it's still big.
No, it's still. And it has something, and this is the sad part, what I'm always saying, like the internet has some very positive sides and some very negative sides as well. I think we always know a medallion has two sides, an up and down. And what I love about the internet, that we can very fast connect to each other. It doesn't matter where you live on this planet. You can connect to each other. You can find the same people. It's amazing for me to not have borders anymore. And I don't need to travel to discover new cultures. I think that's just great about the internet. I can connect with somebody from Korea. I can connect with somebody from Africa. I can connect to somebody from Europe immediately with no problem whatsoever. I love that. The downside is that I'm always saying there's in every village, there's an idiot. We always call them the village idiots. They can fight each other now as well. And they're thinking they can rule the world suddenly. And they have a bigger voice. Back in the days, we always laughed about the crazy people. And now they're finding a voice and can promote stuff what is crazy. And Kangen is for me one of that. That's a downside because first of all, it's a multi-level marketing scheme. I think an MLM should be already a red flag. It should be the first thing what you're realizing it's a red flag. The second, the problem what I have with the Kangen people, by the way, there's nothing wrong about the water per se. Let them drink the water. I don't have a problem when people believing all in this nonsense, what they're thinking, like the same with Alkaline, because this is pretty much their story tagline as well about the different pH levels. Whatever, let them drink that. Enjoy yourself on this $5,000 machine. The problem what I have is the accountability. First of all, they're making outrageous video and tricking people into believe that this machine is the holy grail of water. They're thinking it's like a medical grade water. They have no clue what medical grade water actually means. Medical grade water means it's highly super purified water for a disinfection of like medical grade machines. You don't want to drink that. That would be actually very bad to drink. So they don't even know what medical grade water actually means. Then they're confused about the theme of, oh, it's a medical device. But they're vice versa. They're using these words back and forth. But when you're asking these Kangen people online, so what does actually medical grade stand for? They have no clue. They just don't know what that actually means. And I know it because I'm studying water for over 20
You're
years
the water
now.
sommelier.
Yeah. So what that means under the Japanese law, it's a security measurement. That means, for example, when a surgeon uses a glove, the glove needs to be safe for use in a surgical setting. So therefore, the glove is a medical device. Your hospital bed is a medical device because this hospital bed has a meaning to go up and down, to be differences, to can roll through the doors. That's for safety and will not break down. That is a medical device. So the Kangen people thinking that medical device means that the water produces a medical water, what is good for your consumption. And that is actually wrong. Medical device just means that the machine will not blow up in your face. That's all what that means.
Well, that's good.
But they don't even know that. Think about this. They're all using this term medical device or medical grade water and have no clue what they're actually talking about. And that is where I have a problem with, because that comes now to the biggest point why I hate MLMs, accountability. Because the Kangen company by themselves, they don't do all this nonsense. They are like, no. Our distributors may be saying this, but this is not us. So they don't have any accountability. Because when I would, for example, I have a computer here from Apple. When this Apple computer would blow up suddenly, I can sue Apple. Because maybe they built a wrong battery into my computer, what is unsafe. I cannot sue Kangen because the distributors said some nonsense and I maybe believed this and didn't do any research. So there's no accountability. And that's the reason they're selling it through an MLM, because they know they cannot get sued. That's the whole point behind an MLM. Huh?
That's
the whole point.
ridiculous. Okay, so it's basically just a waste of money.
In my opinion, absolutely. I would never touch this machine. It's a $5,000 overpriced kangen machine. Why is it so expensive? Because everybody in the levels, multi-level marketing, wants to make money. This machine not even has a sophisticated filter system built in. And then you see the kangen people talking about microplastic. They're talking about PFAS. They're talking about lead, but this machine cannot actually filter that out. They're talking about it and trying to sell you to this machine. Imagine you're spending $5,000 on a machine and you cannot even get good water out of this. That's crazy.
Because it's basically just changing the pH. It's not purifying or getting the heavy metals out.
No. It will get chlorine out. That's all what that machine does. Chlorine. My Brita filter can do this for $20.
That's like McDonald's saying, oh, drink our milkshake because it has probiotics and it's good for you. Well, they didn't change the milkshake. They just added probiotics to it. And it's like, it's still not the best.
No, it's really crazy. And again, I feel actually sad for the people who believing this crazy stuff. I have so many videos online where I debunk the kangen people and still people falling for it. And it's literally like an easy Google search. Literally just Google kangen scam and everything will show up why this is a scam. And it's so sad that people kind of like don't use Google anymore. I don't know what that is. Like nobody uses Google anymore.
I feel that one.
It's very strange. Like I always thought through the internet, like we have accessibility now to knowledge, but somehow nobody does it anymore.
Both our dogs, Pepper and Sadie, are incredibly important to us. And if you're a dog owner, I'm sure you can relate. We will go great lengths to make sure our furry friends are well taken care of. And the food we give them is no exception. We feed both our pups Ollie, which is fresh human-grade dog food made from real meat like beef, lamb, turkey, and chicken, plus fresh fruits and veggies you can actually see incorporated into Ollie's carefully developed recipes. Each meal plan is tailored to meet your dog's specific needs. They're perfectly proportioned in mess-free packaging and come with an easy storage pup-tainer for zero fridge stink. We personally store our extras in the freezer, and we store the current meal for the day in the refrigerator. The night before, we just take one packet out and let it thaw overnight for the next day. And since we get multiple flavors and recipes, our dogs never get bored and always look forward to mealtime. And their poops have never been more perfect. And we all know perfect poops mean a healthy pup. Your dog's well-being starts with their food, and that's why Ollie delivers fresh, human-grade food for your dog that we all love. Head to ollie.com/digest. Tell them all about your dog and use code DIGEST to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/digest and enter code DIGEST to get 60% off your first box. I have a question for you all. What's antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, contains antioxidants, improves oral health and digestive support, and contributes to wound healing? If you guessed Manuka honey, then you're absolutely right. Every time I talk about Manukora honey from New Zealand on my Instagram, I always get messages from my followers telling me how much they appreciate me introducing this ancient healing honey to them and their family. A little goes a long way, and this honey should be saved for medicinal purposes, not baking into cakes or cookies. It's something I always have in my pantry because it never spoils, ever. And a tiny teaspoon daily is all you need to get the endless benefits both internally and if you apply it externally on your face for breakouts or even burns, its potent healing powers work wonders. Manukora honey contains 3 times more antioxidants than your typical sweetener and the special antibacterial compound called MGO. The higher the MGO count, the more of these antibacterial compounds exist in the honey. It's hard to find Manuka honey with an MGO MgO above 500, but Manucora guarantees an MgO of at least 850. Now it's easier than ever to get Manucora honey. Just head on over to manucora.com/digest to save $70 on their starter kit, which comes with an 850 plus MgO Manucora honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's manucora.com/digest to save $70 plus $25 worth of free gifts. That's manucora.com/digest. You have to know what to research too, because I think the certain things that you type in, different things will pop up. So you have to know, you have to kind of play that game because, things are suppressed, unfortunately, and things are censored. That's a whole nother topic for another time, but.
I'm so with you. I'm so with you. I'm totally with you.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, I was in the grocery store and I've seen this a few times. They have this quote, baby water in like the water aisle. Is baby water, is it just marketing? Like, why are they saying it's baby water?
I can tell you why. Because not every water is actually healthy for a baby or for an infant. Because the kidneys of an infant are not really developed yet. So when you use water to mix it for your baby formula, you need water low in minerality. That's very important.
So is it like distilled water, basically?
I don't want to say distilled. Some of them maybe are distilled. Some others are maybe purified. Maybe other brands are actually spring waters. But just like with a very low mineral content, your baby cannot access all this minerality, what you as a grown-up or as a regular child, you want to have. Like I have a water brand here in I call it a water closet. It's like a room just with water bottles. And in my selection, there is a water brand, natural clean water. Nothing's been altered to this water. It comes from a natural clean source out of Germany. But they have a warning label on that water. Do not drink when you're under 12 years old. Think about this. For a water brand, it's not alcohol or something. No, for regular water. It's high mineral content. And this water actually, by the German government, is considered healing water. It falls under the medicine law. We have over 60 water brands out of Germany who are falling under the medicine law. Here in America, completely forbidden by law. The FDA does not allow you anything to say besides hydration. Again, what you said as well, different topic maybe. There is I think there is a problem with our medical system, a big one actually. And natural healing products are completely suppressed by the CDC, by the FDA. Let's be honest. Here. I think it's not rocket science. It's just like we clearly see the evidence here that many illnesses could be prevented by just drinking and eating the right food and beverages.
Right. Well, you can only make money off of sick people. So
yeah, and this is the sad part. In Germany, forbidden by law that the health insurance companies are allowed to make money. When they make money in 1 year, they have to lower their rates.
Oh my gosh.
Simple. It's that simple.
Okay. What's the most overhyped water brand in your opinion?
It's the most overhyped is clearly like this idea of alkalinity, like smart water. Essentia, for example. When I see Essentia people, I'm always laughing about them. Jesus, like this 9.5 pH, again, we talked already about it, is supposed to be the holy grail of water. No, it's not. Your body doesn't care.
Can we name brands?
Yeah, Essentia, for example.
Essentia?
Yeah. It's owned by Nestle. First of all, sorry, I'm not a biggest fan of Nestle. They have been in hot water many times. And I just don't like them. Like they are always like playing like borderline everything. They just had a huge problem again with Perrier. I used to love Perrier. I think it was a great, amazing water out of France.
I used to drink it too. Yeah.
Nestle bought it for several years ago. Then they suddenly they became in hot water because the minerality changed. Something changed over there. And we found out this year, actually last year already, a huge scam in France that they actually filtered their spring water because they have problems with the spring source due to climate change. Sorry, guys, but I know a lot of people don't believe in climate change. As a water sommelier, I can tell you several reasons why climate change is real. Because I see more and more water companies diminishing because it's getting warmer and warmer on this planet. And It's the water cycle. The water cycle breaks down at one point because it doesn't rain so much anymore. That's the issue we have with the climate getting warmer and warmer. So there are several water brands who have problems now. For example, Badois, an amazing water out of France, what I loved, is not available in United States anymore because it doesn't rain so much anymore in France, in the Loire Valley, where this water is coming from. And they had to pull out of the American market because they don't have enough water anymore to sell. So it's sad what's actually happening there. But with Nestle, so they didn't want to pull that out. They just wanted to filter it now because they still want to make money. So they sold suddenly filtered water. And by regulations in Europe, you're not allowed to call yourself a natural mineral water when you're actually filtering your water. So now on the American market, they're calling it Marceau Perrier. And you would think like, oh, what is this now? How cool is that? No, it's a rebrand because now they're selling you and they're not transparent. And I hate when water companies are not transparent. Like, let's be honest, water should be transparent, pun intended now.
Literally.
Yeah, really, like how crazy is that a water company is not telling you the water quality report, or that the water company is hiding you where the water is actually coming from? Because when you look at Marceau Perrier now, you cannot find any information where this water is coming from out of France. They don't tell you. They're just saying water. What does that mean? Are they using tap water now? Are they using spring water? Where's the water coming from? It was a rebrand just for that. So therefore, I'm not touching this water anymore. Sad.
No, I completely agree. I think Nestle or any big brand or big company, when a small company gets bought out and then they quote rebrand because of maybe legal reasons, most likely the product, whatever it is, like let's Perrier, for example, people that were drinking Perrier are just used to it. Maybe they didn't even know it got bought out. And then they're thinking, oh, it's just a rebrand, whatever. They don't even think to look at it any further. And that goes for, everything.
Correct. They changed pretty much the product. That's what that is. A rebrand is most of the time I'm agreeing with you. Most of the times when a company is rebranding something, please take a very close look. Something is illegal. Something is legal, maybe just borderline. They're trying to be just under the water for a little bit.
I'm seeing that with Siete. They're changing, and then also Simple Mills got bought out, and so some of their ingredients changed. So it is very important to watch. Now, I want to ask you about different brands of water in your opinion, and can you rate them from 0 to being really bad and 10 to being really good?
Let's see, and I'll explain why maybe we'll say I cannot rate, because for taste reasons, you cannot fight. There is no best tasting water. It doesn't exist because we all are individuals and we all have different needs. So when I say I love, for example, Fiji water or Saratoga Mountain Valley, that doesn't mean you will like them.
That makes sense. I mean, if I like apples and you don't like apples, yeah. So, Dasani.
-5. Yeah, it's like, no. And I will tell you a little story about this. So first of all, and I will tell you why it's -5. Obviously, I think Dasani is the #1 most hated water in America for several reasons. Because Dasani is from the house of Coca-Cola. It's purified water. It's nothing what that is. It's only processed tap water. And they used to add salt. And there was a conspiracy theory on Reddit. This was so hilarious. That they're adding salt to make you thirstier. And obviously that was completely nonsense. No, they're selling Dasani in all these amusement parks. They're adding salt to get more sales. Completely nonsense. Yes, they're adding salt. But what is actually salt? Salt is just a normal word for minerals. And minerals, some other will call it electrolytes. So the same people who believe that Dasani is bad because they're adding salt, they're buying smart water because they're adding electrolytes and not realizing it's literally the same. Both comes from Coca-Cola. Dasani is purified versus smart water's vapor distilled, fancy word for boiling up tap. That's all what that is. They're boiling up tap, collecting the steam, putting electrolytes in, call it smart. Yeah, it's not smart at all. to buy that, in my opinion. Sorry. So the problem what Dasani had, it was so big suddenly on the internet. They're adding salt. They rebranded as well. New logo, a little bit more lighter blue right now, like in this almost teal color, Miami blue or whatever that is now. And then they had big, it was hilarious. They had big banners on it, now without salt. And I was laughing. So that means the water is even now worse than before, because now they're not even adding electrolytes anymore. So now
it's the most,
now it's really bad. Now it's like super bad. So I called them, and I called customer service hotline of Dasani, and I asked them, I would love to see your water quality report, because I think as a water company, I think the ingredient list is important, and I think it's very important. Like literally every spring water company, you will find this on the homepage. Every water company who is honest to their clients will have a water quality report publicly that you can see it, what's going on. They denied this. Think about this. They denied a water quality report. And they told me, oh no, it's a trade secret. He's saying, are you kidding me?
It's a trade secret. Jeez.
No, I was laughing and laughing and laughing. I'm sorry. But Dasani is just bad. I would never buy it.
What about Arrowhead spring water?
Great water. I've been to several spring sources. They're, for example, the opposite. They're very transparent. They called me up and said, Martin, we would love to showcase our spring sources. You say, how cool is that? That a water company invites me to say, can you please come? We want to learn from you. We would love to pick your brain a little bit. You're talking about water all the time. We would love to get your help a little bit, what we can do better as a company. I was like, look, this is the right approach. This is what I want to see from a water company. To be humble and say, listen, there's this crazy German guy out there who talks about water all the time on the internet. Maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe we should learn as well from us, for the company. And they literally sent to me with different people into their spring sources. I was like, I have pictures of this where I'm like diving into the mountain where the waters are rising by themselves. And I was blown away.
Okay, so everyone listening, Arrowhead.
Yeah, love Arrowhead.
That's amazing that they reached out and they want to be more transparent and share more. That's a huge green flag, I guess.
The big opposite there. Huh? The one company tells me, no, I cannot tell you the water quality report. The other said, we want to actually have you at the spring source that you can see what we're doing with the water.
Okay, so if I am traveling or at a grocery store and I need some water, I'm going to look for Arrowhead then, because I grew up on that.
I think so too. And that's like for the people who are listening in from the East Coast, of course, the same company. It used to be Blue Triton. Now it's Primo Water. They just merged. But Primo, for example, owns Saratoga or Poland Spring as well on the East Coast. And they did exactly the same with me. They said like, oh, you've been to Arrowhead. Please come to the White Cedar Spring out of Maine, where we're sourcing our amazing water from there. We want to showcase this as well. And they had, think about this. They have water stewards in the wetlands. They have measurements to see which kind of impact they might be having on nature, to make sure they won't have a negative footprint on Mother Nature. That's a water company. That is what a water company should be. Like to be that sustainable, to see what's going on. Are they perfect? No company is perfect. But at least they want to learn. They want to reach out to people. They want to help. They want to see what else can we do to be better in the future. That's what a water company should drive for.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's your take on Voss?
Yeah, I would say it's a 5. So the Voss still and sparkling, I think are good. I love the bottles. Back in the days, it was like super hip in the 90s and 2000s. The bottle was designed by Neil Kraft, the former chef designer of Calvin Klein. I love the bottle. I think it's pretty awesome and cool. We've been even replicated by wine companies, and everything. The problem what Voss had, what we already discussed, they've been sold to a Chinese guy. This Chinese guy just used the brand Voss And all their flavored waters now are all purified water brands. It has nothing to do with the original Voss water from Norway. The problem, what I a little bit have as well with the Norwegian still and sparkling, they're a little bit distransparent there as well. They have a quarter quality report, so that's fine. The problem what I have, they're telling me the water comes, the still and the sparkling, from the same source, but their sparkling is way higher in minerality than their still water. And that cannot be. When the water comes from the exactly same source, even when you add artificially CO2 carbonation to it, that should not affect the TDS, the overall mineral composition, because that's not a mineral, that's a gas. And the mineral composition is not measured by gases. So something is off there. And they explained it once. Oh yeah, our former owner, who owned Voss, he loves water, sparkling water with more minerality. And I agree with him. I like them too. But that means you may be adding that minerality. What even? I don't have a problem with that. But just say it, that you're doing it. But they don't say it. They're just saying it's from a natural occurring source. And that's a little problematic to me. Then it used to be artesian water, what they said as well on their bottles. And they got rid of that as well now, of that wording. Artesian water means it comes by themselves out of pressure, out of the spring source. So that wording is gone. So something changed again. Huh? And then I have a problem. When they're not transparent.
That's a little sus.
Yeah, something is.
Yeah, that's a little sus.
Something is off.
Okay, well, talking about sparkling water, I have a question. So what's your take on it? And is it really naturally bubbly, or are they just carbonating it?
Can be both. So it
can be both.
Can be both. So for example, Saratoga or Mountain Valley Springs, both, in my opinion, great waters here out of the United States. We don't have to ship all waters from over the world. For example, Pellegrino, Nest, and Aquapanna. I don't understand why a regular, normal American restaurant has Italian brands imported. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? We have amazing American brands. We are here in the United States. We should support American brands. Like, that's for me, clearly. I create water menus with obviously tons of different waters from all around the world, but the house water is always American. Has to be. It's crazy to me why I should buy something from Italy as a house water. That doesn't make sense to me. And by the way, it's owned by Nestle again. Pellegrino and Aquapanna is owned by Nestle. And no, sorry. Therefore, the waters are totally fine. I like Pellegrino, I like Aquapanna. I just don't like the mother company. So therefore, I don't have them in my water menus. It's very that simple. So Mountain Valley and Saratoga are both amazing, good spring waters, and they're adding their carbonation artificially to it. Again, I don't have.
They are adding the carbonation.
They're adding the carbonation artificially to it. Added CO2. What says on the bottle as well? They're very transparent about this. They don't make a crazy story about like, oh, our source is natural carbonate. No, they don't. Gerolsteiner, a brand from Germany, or Borjomi, a brand from the country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia, not confused here, please. Or a Vichy Catalan, for example, out of Spain. These are natural occurring sparkling waters. And how does that happen? It happens when, again, water comes down as rainwater, passes through different stone layers. It hits, there's maybe old magma feelings back in the days in that soils where it used to be volcanoes. And there's a lot of CO2 nestled actually into the grounds, and water passes through the CO2 now. Now it's actually interesting what pH can do, not to your body, but to water. The water becomes slightly acidic. And when water is slightly acidic, it has more dissolving power. And again, not confused, please, with our body. We'll not get rid of acidic water. You should not drink acidic water to get rid of your fat or something. It's a myth as well. That doesn't work. Because again, everything what we eating and drinking will actually eventually go acidic due to our very acidic stomach. But by water, before we're drinking it, it becomes now acidic, more dissolving power, so it can leach out even more minerality. So that's the reason why a Gerolsteiner, a Borjomi, a Vichy, these natural occurring mineral waters have way more minerals dissolved due to the fact that they are originally carbonated, because there's more dissolving power from Mother Nature. So these are kind of like energy drinks created by Mother Nature. They have more electrolytes than a Gatorade could ever wish for. Think about this. And we're all drinking Gatorade because we think, oh, it's an electrolyte drink, it's so healthy. Sorry, when something is neon yellow, I don't know if this is really healthy for
or bright red. Yeah.
bright red. Maybe something is like, I used to, like Mother Nature showed us when something is super red, we should actually, it's a warning color. Maybe it's poisoning. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
really. Think about
yeah,
that.
think about this. That's what Mother Nature crafted back in the days for us. So it's very strange that, and this is again like lost in translation, we somehow get convinced that everything what is healthy needs to be mankind produced. It needs to be super purified first. It needs to be cleaned up. I don't know, this obsession with everything needs to be clean, 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 clean in America. My parents on purpose put me into, like, literally let me eat dirt as a child
Yes.
to
Yes.
get to expose to
Build your
bacteria
microbiome.
that I'm fine later on. Why we have so many allergies now? Why we have so many problems what you cannot digest anymore? Because be honest, and I'm not against, like, I know there's people who have allergies. I have some allergies as well. Like, for example, when I'm going into February here into Los Angeles, there's something growing what I'm not been exposed to in Germany, because the nature is here different in California now. Vice versa, in the summer now, I don't have any problems here. So yes, and I'm not against people who have maybe even food allergies. I coming from the hospitality industry, I know that people have severe allergies of, for example, almonds or dairy products. I'm like, I will do my best to obviously help you guys to make sure you will not get sick at my restaurant. But it's a trend to be suddenly have allergies to certain things. And that is like where the problem becomes now the problem. And I think like we should be exposed a little bit more to Mother Nature to be actually have a little bit better life in the long run. We don't have to clean 500 times every day.
I think you're speaking my language, Martin. But I just think that's so amazing that actually there is naturally occurring bubbly water out there. But again, there are some artificial bubbly water. So if you're okay with that, fine. But I think that is, a good thing to note. But what's your opinion on glacier water, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just a mineral-rich water derived from melting glaciers?
It's not mineral-rich. It's actually the opposite.
Really? I thought it was high in minerals.
Let's think about natural occurring sources. So rainwater, you can buy this actually in bottles, has barely any minerals dissolved because, again, water cycle, it doesn't have time to pass through different stone layers. So therefore, rainwater is almost distilled water by nature. Then you have iceberg waters where this rain is freezing up immediately for maybe 10 or 20,000 years ago, kind of like a time capsule, what you're drinking. It's pretty cool. So you're having this very low minerality as well because the iceberg was not exposed to different mineral levels. Then you have glacier water in the next level. So it's maybe a glacier, it froze up the water as rainwater. Now it, due to natural occurring sources or due to climate change, the glacier will actually melt. And my wife lives, for example, in Alaska. So they have glaciers who are building up every year and then diluting themselves. So not every glacier is due to climate change diluting. No, that's just like a natural occurring normal thing, what glaciers do sometimes, be produced and not produced. So again, like, I believe in climate change, but I don't believe when people are saying all glaciers are melting just for climate change. No, that's wrong. And I think that's the reason why so many people are sick and tired of people who just saying everything is suddenly climate change related, because a glacier will go and up as well, certain ones. So again, glacier will dilute themselves, and now the water actually is now a liquid and will maybe pass through different stone layers and then will be considered still glacier water. But now it had impacts on different soils, and depends where the soils are, where the glacier was. It can vary in minerality. I had some glaciers water with a TDS of 10 to 12, like super low. Distilled water is 0, that you get like an idea what this TDS major stands for, total dissolved solids. But I had glaciers waters as well with 500 TDS. That's considered already mineral water by the FDA. That means every water with higher than 250 TDS is considered mineral water under the law. So glacier water can vary. And then you have spring waters from a natural occurring spring source, and then you have mineral waters, again, what comes from a natural occurring spring source, but it has to have at least a threshold of 250 TDS. So glacier water can be both. So for me, rainwater, iceberg water, glacier water, spring water, or mineral water. There is no good or bad sides. It just depends where it's coming. It's just there's the source of the water where it's coming from, but it can be very variative in minerality. And then as well, wise to your food. Like iceberg water can be pretty cool for a salad because or sushi because my salad and my sushi is very low in aromas. And when I put a very intense mineral water to it, it would literally like distract from the beautiful fruit flavors. Yeah, you would never drink a red wine for your sushi. You drink a nice white wine to it. Low and like nice and light and flavor. Same with water. Like a mineral water on the other contrary side, amazing for barbecue. Heavy steaks, the fattiness of my burgers. And I'm not a health guru, that we're all clear here. Like I have a very diverse diet. I love my cheeseburgers. I love to drink beer. I'm totally for alcohol. Like I'm not a guy who's on the internet to think I'm a health guru because I'm a water sommelier. No, I can make your wine taste better. That's my job as a water sommelier because I know the impact what water has to other beverages and food.
So you can make your wine taste better and you can make the food taste better just by pairing things, just by pairing the types of water with whatever you're eating.
Correct. That's the fun part. And for people who are sober, who don't want to drink alcohol anymore, or maybe cannot even drink alcohol because their doctor said, sorry, there's a huge opportunity for you guys to discover something else. And I think a lot of people are always thinking, and this is where I think our culture is a little bit off. Why are we calling it dry January when we actually don't drink alcohol and being better hydrated in that month? But we're calling it dry January. We have a weird conception about alcohol. And again, I love alcohol. I'm not against alcohol at all. I love my beers. I'm German. Like it would be blasphemy to say I don't like beer as a German person. But it's kind of weird that we're saying, oh, you're just drinking water. It's like a negative side when we hear that people don't drink. And I have a feeling it comes from this idea of we all know that alcohol is actually a drug. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter how much you're drinking. It's a drug. It's a drug. And no alcohol.
It can be very addictive.
Correct. It's not healthy to drink actually alcohol. I drink it for the enjoyment of the flavor. I don't drink it because there's alcohol in it. I would love when there would be non-alcoholic beverages who would be perfect, like a very good beer. But I haven't found like they're getting better and better. But I don't need alcohol.
Okay, so there's this company and they're just coming out. It's called Not Beer. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
And it's a non-alcoholic beer.
Well, it's not. No. Not beer is not a non-alcoholic beer. It's a water company.
No.
Yes. The CEO who was a frat boy who can, in my opinion, like literally like that guy thought he could fight liquid death. Same marketing is called Not Beer. I have the can here. I made 2 videos about this guy because he thought he can debunk the water sommelier. Oh my God. As a CEO, as a water company, he had no clue what he's actually talking about water. And that is scary. And then you know where marketing goes, that water companies don't even know what they're actually selling. That is scary. Not beer is actually a water brand.
It's sparkling water. I'm just looking it up right now as we're talking. It's basically just flavored sparkling water.
It looks like a Budweiser.
And it's just marketing. Yeah, it's the marketing. Yeah, it's the can, it's everything. It looks like a beer.
Google Martin Riese, Not Beer, and you will see the videos where I feel almost sorry for that guy. I don't want to destroy people who want to build a new business. That's not my part. I don't want to do this. But when people don't know what they're talking about, I have to say something. I'm sorry. Like I'm bringing just facts to Americans. The whole idea behind my channel is I'm not here to tell you which water to drink. I'm just here to spread knowledge that Americans are more empowered to make the right decisions for themselves. That's all what I want to do. I'm not an influencer. And that's very, very important because there's a big difference between influencing and content creator. An influencer is a person who uses his channel because he has a lot of followers and he will literally sell stuff to you where he has no clue if these are good or bad products. He doesn't care. He doesn't know anything. No, me neither. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. It's just to sell people his or whatever product to his followers. A content creator is a very big difference because a content creator makes research first, finds the research, makes up his mind about the research, and then creates content based on the research he did beforehand. That's the reason I'm always saying to water companies, I'm not a billboard. I don't know how many water companies want to put like marketing videos on my channel. And you barely see paid advertisement on my channel. Sometimes I'm doing it. Let's be honest, I need to make money. You need to make money. We all need to make money. But when I'm doing a paid content, I want to see the water first. I need to test the water first. I want to see the water quality report. I want to see the sustainability practices of a water company. And I want to make sure I can actually stand behind that product. And then I'm more than happy
Amen.
to spread the word. But I will not do anything for a company who I do not believe in. I'm not an actor. I'm not Jennifer Anderson who talks about smart water positively. She is an actress. She plays a role in a commercial. Why are we thinking she knows anything about water? That's crazy talk to me. It's crazy.
No, I applaud you for standing your ground. And I am the exact same way. Like, I have sponsors, but it's because I truly love what I'm using. And as a content creator or educator, I think, you're an educator if you want to call yourself that, but you're giving out useful, helpful information, and you're standing behind products and brands that you use in your real life and that you would recommend to your friends and family.
My mentor says we have like an 80-20 relationship. 80% I'm saying no to the offers I'm getting, and 20% I'm saying, yeah, that's a good product. I will help you and I will talk to you and I'm happy to share a post. But let's 80-20.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about canned water? And is that better than a quote, bottled water?
So the best container for water is still glass. It has a little downside, glass as well, because it's breakable. That's the downside of a glass bottle. It's heavy and it's breakable. So that's a problem. But from a taste perspective and health perspective, glass cannot do anything to water. That's the reason, because you said expiration date in one of the questions. And I said, is an expiration date a scam? I could have said both, yes and no. Because no, in the fact of water is not expiration. Water has no expiration date. Water is billions of years old. We have the same amount of water, again, what I said to you, since billions of years. We're drinking, it doesn't matter how beautiful my water bottle looks like, what I drink or what you maybe have in your cup today. It might have been dinosaur piss at one point. Doesn't sound really appealing right now, but that's just a fact. It's just a fact that in every bottled water, there's one water molecule what used to be in a dinosaur. There's studies been done about this. Pretty awesome and cool, I think. So glass bottles preserve water perfectly. Nothing can harm it. Nothing is fine. Nothing can go in and out. Therefore, it's totally fine. Other containers, especially plastic, yes, there is a problem because in plastic but plastic is actually not that bad what we're thinking. Plastic is more bad by heat and sunlight. That's where the problem occurs. That then suddenly, out of this plastic, even it's BPA free, pretty much every water company doesn't use BPA anymore. So we don't have to worry about that. But there's other chemicals maybe in that. What we have problems now, what we didn't discover it yet. What maybe is a problem in 5 years. Because we don't have long time studies and suddenly realizing, because we have this all the time. And that's the reason where I understand even why people are so frustrated with science these days. And they're saying, oh, science should know. Why are you always saying science? Science is evolving all the time. Because science says maybe it's safe right now does not mean it's actually safe in 5 years. Because then suddenly we get more data and suddenly realizing, oh, we have a problem.
I talked about that too with like stevia. When it first came out, it was great. And then, of course, studies now are coming out that it's not so good for you and blah, blah, blah. And I won't get into it, but that's a perfect example.
So even something is safe considered today does not mean it's actually safe.
Well, if plastic though, if you're saying that it's okay if it's not in the sun, but how do we know that the people that handled it was like in the sun.
Correct. And that is exactly the issue. Well, I'm totally agree with me. I did a post. I don't want to say now which big grocery chain that was, because they did the right thing and actually connected and listened to me. But again, I want to give you an example. So for several years ago, I took a picture of a big grocery store chain who had all their purified water brand in the middle of the sun, outside. And I was like, how the hell? Like, can you do this? And I took a picture. I put it on my social media. I tagged this the grocery store chain on that. And I said, you're a grocery store. You need to know where to put your groceries. You don't put sushi in the middle of the sun. We all know that this maybe is a problem. It is exactly, this is literally for me exactly the same problem. It doesn't hurt immediately, but it will hurt eventually. The sushi will turn immediately. It will be very bad immediately because just like the lifespan of raw meat is just very, very short. The lifespan of plastic bottles is a little longer, but in the sunlight, direct sunlight, that's a huge issue. That's a huge issue. And I totally agree with you. So we don't know where these bottles been. That is a huge problem. That's a huge problem. That's the reason why I'm saying there's a downside again to everything. By themselves, plastic is maybe not that bad because it's light, it's durable. When it would be obviously in dark, cold environment, there might be not a problem. But we have no clue where these water bottles been in before we're purchasing it. But by the way, this grocery store reached out to me and moved all their stuff inside immediately. They did it. They listened to me. What was nice. But again, I see many other stores, they're doing it and they don't care. So for me, glass is the best. Then the aluminum can, yes. Got the big, even there's maybe a plastic liner inside the aluminum can. So there's maybe a paint coat or a plastic coat inside the aluminum can. The good thing is they're using obviously way less plastic than a plastic bottle can ever use. And the sunlight cannot go penetrate anymore. So it doesn't have the direct contact from sunlight anymore, the UV light, into the water bottle due to the plastic, because now there's an aluminum can covering this. So obviously the can is better. Then actually plastic comes for me as third. The worst for me is the Tetra Paks. You need like the boxed waters, what you see.
Oh, those boxed, yes.
Correct. What looks like a milk container, but it's water.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, oh, it's so good because there's a plastic liner in it. The problem is,
isn't there aluminum inside or something?
that's not aluminum. There's plastic liners inside these. The problem is with these boxed waters, they cannot be recycled. There's barely any recycling facilities out there here in America who can separate all the different liners. By aluminum, by plastic, and by glass, it's easy to recycle. These boxed waters go into the landfill immediately. So I'm not a big fan of the boxed waters, sorry. And it gives a really weird taste as well. When something is, I don't know what that is, but it's a weird taste to drink water of these boxed waters. It's not good, and it's not good for the environment.
I've never had a boxed water before.
Don't. There's
okay,
like
noted.
A drug, huh? I know some stuff is bad for me. I don't need to try it to know it's bad for me. That's for me with boxed water. I don't have I don't need to touch that stuff.
Okay, everyone listening, don't touch the boxed water. Isn't there a company called Boxed Water?
And they're even calling boxed water is better. This is what they're calling themselves. And what it is, it's purified, highly processed tap water sold in a container what is not recyclable. Great. Very good. Unbelievable.
Oh, brother. Well, I hope everyone that is listening today is a lot more educated on water. And if they are wanting to learn more, where can they find you on your social media?
So, obviously, my social media tag is Martin Riese on Instagram and Facebook. You have TikTok, Martin Riese Official. And then from there, you can go actually into my link tree when you're on my socials. And I'm doing Water 101 classes over Zoom, what we just did. And I'm sending out water boxes to you with 6 different waters. And we can sit once per month. We can hang out together and drink different waters together. And we can learn. It's like always like between an hour and a half and 2 hours. When you want to learn more about water, I'm very close to launch my new app. And it's free for everybody because I think knowledge should be free for the consumer. I'm not doing like other apps, maybe doing with a paywall to it, to get information. I hate that. No, I want the consumer needs to get this free. It's called Sourced, the app. And you can go to sourced-water.com right now to sign up to be on the waiting list until I'm launching it. And then you can take your cell phone, you can scan your water bottles at your grocery store, and then everything will come up about this water. Sustainability efforts, where's the water coming from, what they're doing, water quality reports, pairing notes, even like it's going to be a very cool app. It's a lot of work, but it's really fun. And when you want to become even a water sommelier like me, I'm certifying water sommeliers online. So you are actually able to become a certified water sommelier like what I am. And it's with the International Water Alliance. It's called the Masterclass of Water Sommeliers. And again, when you're on my Instagram, go to my link tree and you see it immediately. And so you become a water sommelier. And to the end, I want to say there are so many amazing water brands out there. Not every water brand is bad. That's very important to me because sometimes people saying, oh, it's so bad. You talk about these big corporations. Not everybody water brand is a big corporation. They're like small little boutique water brands out there who are so passionate. They want to share their amazing waters with you guys. And they're proud about their waters. And they're sourcing it, sustainability sourced it, like an Distilled from Denmark, like a 3Base from Australia, beautiful, amazing brand from Australia, owned by 2 people. Like they don't have the research these big companies have. We need to support smaller brands because the more variety we have, the better it is for you. Because when a big corporation at one point has a monopole on you, then we have a problem. And I see it more and more happening. They can demand what you drink later on. And I don't want that.
I think if everyone wants to know more about these smaller water brands, I'm sure you have a list on your website and you talk about them. And I'll put your Instagram and your social media links in today's show notes so people can just go there and and just tap with one easy click and then sourced-water.com, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And so if you go there, I'm really excited about your app and thank you so much for just coming on and sharing your knowledge about water. This was fascinating.
I'm always here for you. Always. Whenever you have a question or you think like, oh, there's a side note, maybe I need to talk about it. I'm happy to come back on, even as a small part about a side note or something. I'm here for you because again, the more we know, the better it is for you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.